Hello, welcome to Chapter 6 of Introduction to Public Health. I'm Jeremy Whitaker. Now, diving into this chapter, we're going to look at preparedness, emergency response. What is public health's role in an emergency? Some key things here: surveillance, watching what's going on, looking for outbreaks and cases, often determining what's going on. Epidemiological investigation, basically looking, again, going out, trying to look at if there's an outbreak, where did it start, how is it spreading, what are the vectors, that sort of thing. Laboratory investigation, again, public health has a lot of the laboratory, especially for exotic diseases, especially the state laboratory or the Iowa Hygienic Lab in Iowa City tests a lot of those more exotic specimens. So if you're looking at things like ricin and anthrax, it's going to go down to Iowa City. Of course, intervention, being able to respond. Risk communication, having a spokesperson on TV communicating with the public, letting people know what's happening. Planning capabilities, they're often, public health in a lot of these emergencies is the central coordinating agencies. They're the one going to work with fire and police and possibly even like the National Guard in coordinating a response. And again, that kind of goes in that next thing of it's a community-wide effort, but public health is kind of the tip of the spear when responding to these things. Now, looking nationally, you have the incident management system and a response plan. Big scale events, disasters usually that require federal intervention. And you have federal assets that can respond to those. Again, Homeland Security, which is a bunch of agencies, disaster medical response. Again, the metropolitan medical response for big cities like New York. The Strategic National Stockpile, which is basically containers full of medicine, vaccinations, things that can be pushed out in an emergency to help restock pharmacies who get overrun. And then, of course, state and local funding helps get ready for those emergencies. And also there are interstate compacts where people will, if there's a disaster in Omaha, that, Iowa will go respond to it and vice versa. Again, state and locally, a lot of state agencies involved. Obviously, the Iowa Department of Public Health, but there's a state emergency response. There's state police and fire and other agencies that need brought together. Incident command system is basically who's in charge and delegates responsibility. You have an incident commander. Again, you have risk communications. You have people who are in charge of materials to make sure that supplies are ready and things like that. So again, it's and often they'll wear vests so everybody know who's in charge, and it creates a hierarchy so there's no confusion of who's responsible for what in an emergency. Again, the private sector plays a role because often if there's an outbreak of some disease, people are going to walk into their local hospitals and clinics, and their reporting is essential to kind of get things kicked off. And then drills and exercises are essential so people are used to working together, getting out, two-way radios in some cases if the communications go down, that putting on their protective equipment, setting up tents, testing out communication systems. So again, drills and exercises essential to make sure that people can respond in an emergency. Now, one complaint of a lot of money going into preparedness after September 11th was it's going to take money away from other parts of public health. But you can look at this and basically it shows how other parts of public health report being stronger because of these capabilities. So again, things like communications got stronger because money was put into it. So all across the board, public health is a little bit better, in some cases a lot better, because of this cash infusion in the decade after September 11th. Now, a lot of that money's gone away, but the capabilities are still present. So again, some trends that people expect public health to lead, and that public health is brought in when we talk about national security. That again, these models, to plan and organize, they've changed frequently in the last decade, but we've got better, we've drilled, we've practiced. So again, public health is stronger, and our responses are stronger as a result of the kind of investment made over the past 10, 15 years. So looking at homework for chapters 5 and 6, obviously quizzes for both chapters. There's a journal article about Hurricane Katrina. The book references the mistakes of Hurricane Katrina. You may not remember it very well because it happened in 2004. So take a look back. What went wrong? Let me know. And then chapter 5 talks about community health needs assessment and health improvement plan, because chapter 5 really covered those two things in depth. And you can look at the one here locally in Blackhawk County. And then chapter 6 is you creating a PowerPoint on emergency response. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.